Welcome to Policy and Profit, the podcast for ambitious insurance agents and agency owners who want to build predictable, profitable businesses without chasing bad leads or begging for referrals. And here's an interesting statistic. Did you know the average insurance agent makes less than $52,000 a year, and over 90% give up in their first year? The top 1% doing anything with their license are making 5 to 10 times as much selling the exact same policies to the exact same people, earning anywhere between $150,000 and $500,000. And it's not luck, my friend, it's leverage. The secret is that they are following a system to generate fresh, hot leads, book appointments, and close policies like clockwork. I've put together a no-cost blueprint that for this system that shows you how to add $5,000 to $15,000 in additional monthly recurring income in under 90 days. You can access for free. Just go to writemorepolicies.com/blueprint or click the link in the description. Today's guest is Willis Adair. He pivoted from assisting his mother and an insurance beneficiary to opening an insurance company that trains other agents. His prior careers include pastoring, nonprofit, and owning an IT company. Will, welcome to the show. Tell me something you believe is the key to succeeding in insurance sales that most agents completely overlook.
That is a really great question. I wrote down your statistics there. That seems about average from what I've seen being in this business now for 4 years. I think probably the number one thing for most people who fail is one, they're working really crummy leads. There is some truth that a lead is a lead is a lead, but it has to be a qualified lead. And there are so many companies out there that are selling non-qualified leads and then really get what you pay for. I actually spoke with, I won't say the name of the company, but this guy bought a bunch of bad leads and he's now being threatened with a lawsuit from the company that he was trying to write a product through. Stick with good leads. I mean, that's just, you're not going to get a 20-cent lead and be able to write a $10,000 policy. It's not going to happen. Spend some money, get something that's actually decent, that's generated, that had somebody answer a questionnaire, and then listen. It's not complicated. I've been selling policies for 4 years. I wrote a little over, I think we're at 8K right now this week, and we're on Thursday, and I got 3 more appointments today. So shooting for a 10K week. See if that happens. You don't ever know until after the app goes through. But your ability to do this business just comes down to being personable and having a realistic expectation. A lot of people think this is like a lotto and they treat it that way. It's not. It's a business, and you have to run it like a business. If you're not metricizing your data, you're just gonna go out of business in that 90% because you didn't run it like a business. And I think that's a sad but real problem in this industry.
Yeah, unfortunately, agents can't detach their ego from money. In any other area of life, if you suck at playing a guitar, you don't take it personally. You just know it takes time. Then you get better, you increase difficulty. You get better, you increase difficulty. Except with money, getting better at making money is a skill, except ego's involved. And business cannot be run by your feelings. So I'm glad you brought that up. And no, absolutely not. All leads are not created equally, my dear friends. I don't care whatever lead vendors try selling you whatever hopes and dreams. They more than likely bought that from a data aggregator who got it from they opted in for a landscaping quote, and now you're trying to sell them insurance. And it's just like there's such a huge disconnect and incongruity in the marketing. It's talk more about that. What do you typically do for lead generation? Are you generating your own? Are you buying from a vendor? And if you are, you don't have to mention the name, because
So
obviously,
yeah, I won't mention the name of the company I do buy some leads from, but I roll my own. I want to have a diversification for a simple reason. I don't know any one given week who's going to be the people that I'm going to be able to not only have a conversation with, but get a policy through. In a real sense, when you have a warm lead, you're not having to generate the need to have a conversation with them. The person on the other end knows why they filled out your form or somebody else's form. But it's got to be an actual lead, be you're doing final expense, concepts like mortgage protection, IULs. It doesn't matter the product type that the client's going for. They've got to have, though, a product type in mind when you have a conversation, or you're just wasting their time and yours. And if you're a good salesperson, there are a lot of folks in this industry that they're a terrific salesperson. I suck at sales. I'm not a sales guy. I know I said, hey, I made good money this week, and I did, but it's not because I'm a salesperson. So I'm just a conversationalist. I just want to have a conversation about what you said you needed. And at the end of the day, you're either going to take one of the 2 or 3 options I give you and go, well, yeah, I like A, let's apply for that. Or you're going to say, no, I don't like that. And then I'm hanging up the phone and dialing the next lead because they're not a customer until I write an app. Now, if I write an app and it doesn't get approved, I'm going to keep working until I get that person something they qualify and afford. But your ability to make money in this industry comes down 100% on how good the lead is. So, like for my leads, I do a little more specific lead generation on my stuff. It takes a little slower burn, but it's a little higher APV, and I'm really selective. So those kind of fit only on my calendar on a couple of days a week. That's the only day I'll hit them. Other leads, I'm just dialing them at will, put them on my calendar. Like yesterday, I wanted to carry my kid to the movies. So I ran an appointment an hour and a half after my appointment, texted the guy, I'm like, hey, I'm in the middle of an important meeting with one of my most important clients, which is my kids are all my clients because I have policies on them all. And we're watching Sonic the Hedgehog on the big screen, which is really fun on a big screen. But the ability to make money in this industry 100% comes down to having leads that are qualified. And a qualified lead is where someone is exactly like what Mason was saying. They are looking for the products that you have available to help them with, be it final expense, mortgage protection, doesn't matter. They can't be this bait and switch stuff, which is a rampant problem in the industry. And I really do wish that our industry would clean that up. I don't want the government involved because if they get in there, it's going to mess it up for all of us. But it would be wonderful. Thankfully, I do think the new TCPA laws that are coming out to cut down on all these spammy companies is helping. But that legislation it's kind of up in the air. It's supposed to come out in January, and then like the day it was supposed to come out, I did all my stuff, got it compliance, spent a small fortune to make sure we were all good to go. And they're like, we're going to pause that for a year. I'm like, oh, dang it. But I think it'll be good long term. I think being able to cut down on some of this stuff will be helpful. But bad actors are going to bad actor it. And you really need to trust the people you're doing business with. I mean, I've known Mason for a couple of years now. Mason's a good guy. He's not going to mess you over. And then besides, who would mess you over wearing that shirt? I mean, So
Yeah, I asked my wife, like, should I wear this shirt? She's like, no. I said, I know it's a terrible idea, so I'll put it on anyways.
I like it.
That's fantastic, man. And the thing you mentioned about leads is, guys, the lower quality the lead, the more salesmanship required. And so when you're working leads like Will is, you can just be a conversationalist. You can literally just say, hey, do you want it or do you not? And you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person who wants something. You almost talk yourself out of deals, if I had to guess. So if you, I don't encourage anyone to go learn sales. It's extremely manipulative, if I'm being honest. I have to engineer beliefs in consent in people. It's not fun when people look at you like you're a manipulator, which is the natural perception that most people have around me. And I'll just be real. It's not fun to navigate that. But then I completely misconstrue their beliefs around reality. And they're like, Mason's awesome. And so yeah, don't do that. Just go find people who want what you're selling. It's much easier. So that's fantastic. Well, something I know you're really passionate about is this whole idea of longevity and burnout in the industry. Talk to us about that, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of my passions because I think there's a lot of great people that are coming in either to make this a new career or just really a great side hustle. And in our agency, I won't shamelessly plug it now, maybe later if Mason lets me.
Yeah, yeah, you'll be able to plug whatever you want at the end of this, so don't feel ashamed.
Oh, cool.
Don't feel
But
guilty about it.
the reality of it is if you're coming into this industry, you got to have realistic expectations. There are so many ads out there where people are promising 100K plus year one. And I know one guy who's done that. He's working 70 hours a week. That's not my jam. And maybe that's yours and you can be a great person and you can do that. Most people aren't. Most people, if you're working a 30, 40-hour job somewhere else, you're not going to be able to do 70 and hit that. And you get told, well, just quit your job and come into this. You better know what you're
Terrible
doing.
advice.
That's terrible advice. That's why I think there's so much quick burnout because they're not having realistic expectations. I mean, if you went to school, I have a master's degree over there on the wall that says I can preach in a church, which is awesome. But, the reality is that wasn't 5 minutes, and that didn't teach me really anything how to pastor. I had to get into a church and do it really, really bad and have really forgiving people that, said, okay, we're going to come back another week, even though that guy just really messed everything up he just said. But if people can see that you care, they're going to work with you, and they're going to give you an opportunity to grow. Same thing when it comes into this business. You've got to have an opportunity to grow as a broker, or even if you're just a sales agent. If you're a captive agency, you sell one company, as long as the product doesn't stink and you're not trying to shoehorn someone into it just to make a sale, you've got the ability to get someone something that's going to do what I needed when my dad died. My dad died unexpectedly. My mom had a lot of debt. They were not very wise financial stewards. And I found out my dad had been paying on an insurance policy for 38 years. So we went through the process of getting that claim settled out with one of those carriers that I won't mention their name because we actually did sign an NDA, but I will tell you, you want to make sure that the company is solid before you get involved with them, or you're just going to be burnt out and gone. If they say, oh, we're going to give you free leads, run away unless they are paying you a salary. Now, if they're giving you free leads and they're paying you a salary, rock on, that's fine. There's companies that do that. That's a very valid model. But if you're an independent agent, you're running a business. What business is out there that you have no business expense? Unless you're going to do door to door. Like I got a guy on my team. He goes and he knocks on doors. He does it on the weekends. He wants to make an extra 500, $2,000 a month. He's happy with that. I was like, rock on, dude. You don't need to buy any leads. You don't pick up a phone. I don't care. As long as you're writing business that sticks as someone that needs it, you're good to go. And that's just the reality, though. If you're trying to make money in this business repeatable, you're going to do like what grown-ups do. You budget, you spend money, you buy leads. Everyone buys leads that makes money in this, that's independent. And we all agree that it sucks. And yet we do it because that's what provides for our business. So in that sense, it doesn't suck.
Well, yeah, it just comes down to what's known as positive arbitrage. If I borrow credit at 3% and get it, I put that money into real estate that generates me 10% positive. I'm 7% net arbitrage, like net positive on the arbitrage. I want to go borrow as much as I can as long as I'm profitable. And so there's different ways you can buy leads. You can buy advertisements to generate leads. Something that really worked well for me was buying ads in different companies who already had customers for health products. Anyone who bought supplements, who really believed in health, I would write copy and generate me fantastic results. When you're generating, just how a lead is a lead is a lead, a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. So you might as well go to people who already like spending money. The desire is already there. Don't do what Will was already talking about not doing. Don't go talk to people who want to buy fish and try to sell them chicken. My dear friends, you're in for a rude awakening with your bait and switch. So we're going to wrap up here. Thanks so much to our guest, Will, for sharing your insights on kind of longevity and burnout. For those of you interested in learning more about Will and what he does, Will, for the people, agency owners, agents listening, where can they go to find out more about what you do and how to get in touch with you if they want to work with you?
Yeah, so you can find all my social media links on willisadair.com. It has a link over to our agency, the adairagency.com. We didn't come up with any clever names. Adair was kind of simple. Adair, Adair, Willis, Willis, Adair.com. That has a link to cell phone, email, LinkedIn, all the stuff that the guys told me that I've got to have to be able to communicate with people in the 21st century. But really, it's just a vehicle that we use to get you an opportunity to talk with me if you want to. I'm open to have a conversation with about anyone. I'll be honest with you. I'm a people person. I'm a pioneer connector. If you've read The Five Voices, love that book. Good plug there. But yeah, at the end of the day, relationships really do matter. So if you make relationships, you never know. I've had people come on my team that have left, but then they've referred 5 or 6 people to me. I actually have one of my former clients message me right before here going, hey, what do I need to do to pick up that Series 6 license? 2 years ago, still in my text messages last time we messaged. You never know. If you just are a good person and have an honest conversation with someone, you're seeing if you can help them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that's how we do business. We just try to get people what they qualify for and can afford. You do that, you write business that stays on forever and a day. And we generally do, Mason was right. We generally tend to cut people down from what they say they want, because what we really want is make sure that family has a policy that's going to pay out when somebody dies, because that's one of the realities of life. It ends. If you got a good policy, though, it does cut down on that sorrow that you have when it happens there. So if you want to find me, please hit my website, willisadair.com. You Google it. If you do Google me, I'm not the trucker in California. I'm not the dentist in South Carolina. I'm the guy with the thick Southern accent in North Carolina. So I think I'm the only one. There's probably another one somewhere in the state, but they don't have a website yet.
Yeah, if you guys want to sell more policies, just pick up some Southern Charm. Go talk about some sweet tea. It works. My Kentuckian sells me so many policies. So we're going to wrap up here. Thanks so much to our guest, Will, for sharing his insights on longevity, burnout, and writing good business. For those of you interested in learning more about Willis Adair and what he does, go to willisadair.com or click the Facebook link down below. You can just shoot him a message from the description. So if you'd like to be a guest on Policy and Profit, we're always looking for successful agents and agency owners who are doing at least 10K a month in commissions and have unique strategies to share. You can apply at the link below in the description. And one more time, if you want to stop chasing bad leads and start booking qualified appointments with people who actually want to buy insurance, grab our free booked and banked blueprint at writemorepolicies.com/blueprint. Until next time, keep building that commission machine, my friends. Will, you crushed it, buddy. Great job, man. That was fun.
That was fun.